2025. That's number one. Number two is we want to know where the opportunities are. You'd hear a lot of people saying, oh, there are no jobs, there's been a decline. Is that really true? So let's look at things from a data perspective and so on and so forth. And how do you choose the right career path to get into? So if you give me the next 2 hours of your time, I would walk you through all the nitty-gritty, what you should do practically, step by step. What worked, what has worked for close to 5 years, helping over 2,850 people land their very first jobs in the tech ecosystem. So my name is Accees Suleiman. I'll be leading the session today, and I'm super excited to be here. So once more, before we get into the meat of our session, I want to know where you're joining us from. I'm currently in Alberta, Canada. So just type into the chat, where are you joining from? Are you joining from London? Are you joining Montreal? Absolutely phenomenal. Lawson is joining from the UK. Fantastic. And that's the beauty of having sessions like this. You get to interact with some of the biggest and the best names from the comfort of your home. Okay, so let's dive right into it and the reason why we are here today. If you know somebody, you have a friend, you have a colleague, they've been trying to get a sponsored job for the past couple of months, past couple of years, invite them to this session. You know somebody who's been trying to become a data analyst, data scientist, and they really don't know how to go about it. Invite them to this session and we'll show them what exactly they need to do to get started. All right, brilliant. Tolulope is joining from the UK, Tega from Toronto, Hillary is from Nigeria, Benin City. Fantastic. Okay, so let's get started. So no more jobs. That's the title of our session. And what's the reality, in the job market across the 3 major economies? And I would also talk about in Africa, across Europe, and this would cut across so many regions. Okay. Now, who are we at Analytics? Quite a number of you are joining us for the very first time. Analytics is the leading educational technology company, and the focus for us is helping Africans in Africa and Africans in the diaspora to transition into the tech ecosystem. We've been doing this for close to 5 years, and through the 5 years, we've helped over 2,850 people get into the tech ecosystem across different areas, from data analytics to data science to data engineering to agile project management, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. And there's a reason why we've been so successful. And I'll share those strategies with you and what you should start doing going forward from this moment. My name is Accees Suleiman. I'm the founder of Analytics. I'm a technology expert with over a decade experience in data analytics and management consulting. Through the platform of Analytics, and I'm also the co-founder of Amdari, we've helped over 2,850 people make the break into the tech ecosystem, landing their very first jobs. So you'd see 2005 on my screen, but that's not been updated with 2024 numbers. So 2024, we helped over 350 people to make that jump, to get in their very first jobs. And I'll be sharing some of those success stories with you and exactly how they were able to do that and how you can do the same as well. I've worked as a data science consultant in the UK and in the US. I've worked with one of the largest energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa as a data analyst in the energy sector. And I've also worked as a data analytics consultant with FITC, owned by the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Bankers Committee. My experience cuts across 5 different sectors, from financial services to sports, educational technology, energy, and automobile. Now, what would we discuss today? What will be our point of discussion? And we have 4 key areas. The first point is, where are the jobs? Okay, so what happened in 2024 with regards to job opportunities and the number of roles available, how many jobs were created? Did the job market actually go, did it decline? Were there lesser jobs compared to the previous year in 2023? Then what's the pathway for you to follow to land a job in 2025? Okay, what are the different strategies you need to put in place? What have you been doing wrong and you need to start correcting? Number 3, would look at how you can eventually get a job through our upcoming cohorts. We started our first cohort of the year in January, the 6th of January, 2025. We have another cohort starting on the 8th of February, 2025. So how do you get into those programs? And for those who stay till the end, I have an amazing, amazing discount for you. All right. So let's dive into it. So there are no more jobs. But the question is this really true? Okay, is this really true? So let's look at some numbers from last year. Now, one of the things we always do at Analytics is we do a lot of research and we do a lot of analysis, looking at the job markets, where the opportunities are, which career paths are in high demand. Because for you to make that decision to transition, you're probably working in a different career path. You are in the banking industry, you are a care worker, you are a logistic professional, but you want to become a business analyst. How do you make that transition? How do you know the career path that are in demand? So last year, 2024, let's look at some numbers. What really happened across the three major economies? In the US, for example, throughout 2024, the US was able to create an average of 186,000 jobs month on month. Okay, 186,000 jobs month on month. And out of that, the tech ecosystem grew by over 5.8%. So more jobs were created, more people got jobs. And of course, we know at Analytics because our participants, our students were getting jobs left and right. And I'll share some of these with you as we move on today. In the UK, comparing from September last year to September 2023, there was an increase in the number of jobs created in 2024 as a whole. Over 364,000 jobs, new jobs were added to the economy. Now, the tech ecosystem within the UK grew by over 3.4% compared to the previous year. So the UK also had an increase with regards to the number of jobs created. But let's go to Canada and let's see what happened. So generally in Canada, there was a decline in the number of new jobs created across 2024 compared to 2023. So there was a slight decline. However, the tech ecosystem still grew. So other sectors, other industries, generally there was a decline in the overall number. However, the tech ecosystem grew by 4.6% in 2024, indicating a robust tech sector. Now, looking at Analytics as an organization, and from all the things I've said right from the beginning, over 350 people got into the tech ecosystem across different regions, from the US to the UK, Canada, Europe, and so on. And this is 2024 alone. This was a 2.5 increase from 2023, and over 2,850 people have landed their very first jobs in the tech ecosystem after joining Analytics. And 2025 has also started with a bang. We've started very strong and new jobs are coming in. And I'll be sharing that in the coming slides as we go on. Now, what does these figures, what does it suggest to us? It simply suggests that while the US and the UK experienced job growth in 2024, especially within the tech ecosystem, Canada had a slight decline. But even with the decline in the overall recruitment numbers, the tech ecosystem did not slow down. Now, for those looking to getting into different areas, and people use the word tech very loosely, but the question is, where exactly do you need to be within the tech ecosystem in order to get a job fast? Emphasis on the word fast. All right. Now, we look at some things that have happened in 2025 so far. The jobs have been rolling in right from last week up until this moment. We had an amazing lady who joined our HR analytics program. She got a job. She reached out to us, and I'll share this where it's a little bit bolder, and you can see the communication from this lady. She sent us a WhatsApp message when we post jobs to our participants every single week, sponsored jobs, jobs across different regions, remote jobs, and so on. And people get to apply. So she got interviews and she reached out to us. We prepared her for the interview, and this was the message she sent to us yesterday saying, I got the job. Okay. You have Shay. Shay got a job with an organization in Canada, Toronto. And this is Robert Half reaching out to me to provide a reference for Sheyi. But I'm going to expand this so we can see. And we also have Osamudia Men also getting a job as a people partner after joining our HR analytics program as well. These amazing ladies in the UK, Sheyi is in Canada, Osamudia Men is also in the UK. So you can see clearly she sent a message to us. Hello, Priscilla. Happy New Year. I'm overwhelmed with good news. I have 3 job interviews, okay? And I need somebody to prepare me for the interview and so on and so forth. All right. We worked with her. We prepared her for our interview. And she sent us this message after getting the job. I got the job. Okay. So that's one new success story coming in 2025. So the 2025 numbers are already counting. Now you also have Sheyi. Sheyi applied to this role as a financial analyst with his organization in Toronto, Canada. Now she's in the process of getting her reference. And that's one of the beauty of being a part of 10 Analytics. You get the opportunity to get a reference from 10 Analytics. So this is Robert Half reaching out to me saying, hi, Adeza, I need you to provide a reference for Sheyi. And this came in on the 3rd of January. I remember vividly because I was still on holidays when this came in on a Friday. I was in Vancouver holidaying before resuming in 2025. But I was super excited for Sheyi getting this opportunity. Okay. Now you also have Osamudia Men, who got a job as a people partner. And the organization was also reaching out to say, provide a reference for Osamudia Men. So we get this question all the time. How do I get a reference? How do I show a potential employer that I can do the job they're hiring me to do? And that's the beauty of being a part of 10 Analytics. You get a reference from us because you don't list 10 Analytics as the place where you studied. You list 10 Analytics as the place where you worked as a contractor or as a consultant. But I'll speak about that as we move on, which regard, and I speak about the different other steps and strategies you need to put in place. Now, the most important thing here is you need to be a part of these numbers. 350 in 2024. For the last 4 years, over 4 years, we've had 2,850. You need to be a part of the numbers come 2025. And for you to do that, you need to do things a little bit differently from what you've done up until this moment. Okay, so I'm going to reel out some quotes, some phrases as I move into different slides during my session. And if you have questions, please feel free. Send your questions into the chat. I have my colleagues on the call. They would respond to the questions, and I'll pop in from time to time to also take 1 or 2 questions from you. Now, if you want things to change this year, you have to change. You can't do the things you've been doing and expect to have a different result in 2025. Okay, a lot of people complain about, no jobs, things are difficult. But guess what? Sheyi got a job. She got a reference. She got an offer. She's been required to provide a reference on the 3rd of January, right into the new year. Okay, so how do you become a part of that? How do you know what to do rather than complaining? Complaining takes you nowhere, but you need to know exactly what to do in order to get into the room, to have conversations with recruiters and potential employers and eventually land that job. You need to know what works. Double down and get results. And that's what I'll be showing you today. So where do I start from? Where do you start from? That's the question everybody would ask. How do I select the right career path? Okay, my friend talks about business analysis. My cousin talks about cybersecurity. Somebody else talks about product management and so on and so forth. But where exactly do I need to start? That's the question. Now, where do you start? Looking at the job market generally across the UK, jobs within the data space, for jobs that have anything related to data, nearly 50% of companies are recruiting for roles that require data skills. So looking at the UK as a whole, almost 50%, 48% of organizations are looking to hire for roles that have something to do with data. And year on year, you have over 178 to 234,000 roles that are left unfilled. So you have those vacancies opened, but they are left unfilled. And the two major reasons why these roles are left unfilled, people don't get these jobs, they don't fill these positions. Two reasons. Number one, people don't apply. Okay. So I'm going to write, from time to time, and please pardon my handwriting. Number one is people don't apply. All right. And the second reason why you have these numbers, you have roles that are left unfilled year on year, is because for people that apply, so number one reason is people don't apply. But for people that apply, they don't have the right skills. They don't have the right skills and experience to get these jobs. And that's why you see roles within the data space. And if you look at the UK, what are the popular roles, the common roles within the data space? Number one, you'd see the data analyst. And this is according to the UK Department of Science, Innovation and Technology. All right. Number one is the data analyst. You have the data manager, you have the data scientist, you have the data technician, you have the data engineer, and so on and so forth. So it's clear these are the jobs, the data jobs available within the UK. How can I start applying to these jobs? And when you say people don't apply, what does this mean? It doesn't mean that people don't apply at all. They don't apply enough. They don't apply properly. Okay. How to apply is a skill on its own. Knowing how to tailor your CV, keyword optimization, using the right keywords based on the requirements of the job. And I'll speak about that as we move on. Okay. So that's the UK. You have opportunities within the data space. In the US, over 71% of US companies are moving into the Agile, project methodology. Project management has two broad methodologies, the waterfall and Agile. Organizations, over 71% are implementing Agile. So the question is, why don't I want to be here? Why don't I want to join one of the 71% of organizations implementing Agile and work with them as an Agile project manager? In Canada, for example, you have over 157,000 cybersecurity professionals needed to fill key roles. Okay, so if you look at the different economies, the jobs are there. So, but how do I select? Where do I know where to be? How don't I just select a career path because somebody, a friend, has said, oh, this is where you should be, or a brother or a sister has said, this is what you should do. Now, what we do is we take an educated academic research. We scrape data from the major job boards every single year across the three major economies, the US, the UK, and Canada. We look at LinkedIn, Glassdoor, ZipRecruiter, Read.co.uk, CV Library, and so on and so forth, gov.jobs.uk, jobbank.gc.ca. We scrape jobs from all these platforms. We take the data, analyze the data to see the jobs that have the highest frequency, okay, in terms of demand. So which career paths are in demand? And then we juxtapose this against three major criteria. The first criteria is ease of learning. Now, because a particular role is in demand does not mean I can get into that role. For example, blockchain engineering, it's not easy to learn. You need prerequisites. You need to, to study for 18 months to 24 months to become a blockchain engineer. To get into robotics, for example, even though these are career paths that are high in demand, you require certain prerequisites to get into these areas. So you look at career paths that are easy to learn, areas where I can learn within, 5 to 6 months. I can work on projects, join an internship, an apprenticeship, and build a portfolio. That's number one. The second criterion we looked at was ease of transitioning. And what does this mean? Now, My first degree was in industrial chemistry. So for those of you that studied something different, you are in good hands. My first degree was in industrial chemistry right off the university. My very first job was as a management consultant, but I've worked as a data engineer, data analyst, business data analyst, and so on and so forth. And that's because these are areas that are easy to transition. We've helped care workers become business analysts, data scientists. We've helped we've helped accountants become project managers. We've helped pharmacists become data analysts. Now, these are career paths that are easy to transition into because they are skill based. You learn the skills, you work on projects, work on case studies, gain experience, build a portfolio, and you can get a job. All right, so that was the second criterion we looked at. The third criterion and the final is high and rewarding salary. So the career path must be easy to learn. First of all, they are in high demand. They must be easy to learn. I can jump into a boot camp, jump into 10 analytics, 6 months, and I'm able to apply and get a job. Ease of transitioning. I don't need to go back to the university. I don't need to go get a prerequisite in computer science or computer engineering and so on and so forth. The salaries are also fantastic. And we came up with 8 different career paths based on our analysis. The business analyst career path, Agile project manager, Scrum master, data analyst, data scientist, data engineer, cybersecurity analyst, financial analyst, and HR analyst. 8 career paths. Now, if you find yourself in any of these 8 career paths, the 350 people we helped to get jobs last year, 2024, they all fall under one of these 8 career paths. But we didn't stop there. We said, okay, let's seek external validation. Do we have any other reputable organization that have carried out similar research, similar analysis, and are saying something similar? Because we don't want to, fly into the blind. Okay. Now we looked at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports. So what I've done is I've kept a link for you to access this report. It's available if you go online and type World Economic Forum WEF Future of Jobs Report 2024. This report would come up. This is page 30 of the report. Okay, page 30. So I took a screenshot of this and I'm going to highlight some of the findings from the World Economic Forum. Now, why is it important for us to look at the World Economic Forum? The World Economic Forum itself as a body comprises of global leaders from businesses, government, academia, civil society, and they gather every year to chart the path of where the world would go in terms of jobs and the economy of different countries. So it's very important to listen to them. So if you want to transition today, you want to know where the future of jobs would be. Which career path can I get into that I would stay relevant over the next 10 years, 15 years? I don't need to start making a transition again in the next year, the next 2 years. You want to remain relevant. All right. So we looked at the World Economic Forum, and for you to have access to my slides, it's important for you to fill the attendance form. So we have an attendance form that, as a credit analyst, somebody's asking the question, Oladimeji, I would answer that question. Okay. But in the meantime, fill the attendance form. Ensure that you indicate that you attended this session. The recording, the slides, and all the materials would be shared with you. Okay, Oladimeji is asking, can a data analyst be employed as a credit analyst? Absolutely. I'll show you somebody. His name is Abdul. Abdul works with Ardent Credit Services or something like that in the UK. Abdul joined our data analytics program and he got that job as a credit analyst. Okay, I'll show you the screenshots of the email that he sent to me when he got the job, and would also go to his LinkedIn profile. All right. So yes, you can get a job as a credit analyst. So what does the World Economic Forum say? So where you have this screenshot at the left-hand side, you have the jobs that would grow in demand. And at the right-hand side, you have the jobs that will decline. So it's a no-brainer. You don't want to be in a career path where the jobs are declining. For example, product management. Okay, very interesting when I looked at this myself, because product management is a career path that is a buzz. It's been a buzz for the last couple of years. Everybody wants to get into product management, but guess what? The World Economic Forum is showing us that due to the emergence of new technologies, AI, and so many other platforms, you have technologies that can do your market research, help with the product market fit, and so on and so forth. And because of this, the role of the product manager will decline. Products, not projects, because project managers find themselves under the career path that would grow in demand. So it's important for you to know. So whenever I get to mentor anybody or speak to anyone one-on-one, and they're saying, Ades, I want to get into product management, the first thing I tell them to do, have a second thought, okay? Look at these reports and see what the World Economic Forum is saying about this career path. Are you sure you want to get in there? You could get a job, a fantastic one for that, for that matter. However, you might find yourself in the position where you're looking to transition again in a couple of years down the line. All right. So let's focus on where the jobs are growing, because that's where we want to be. Number one, you'd see the AI machine learning specialist, the business intelligence analyst, the data analyst, and the data scientist. Now, all these roles can be categorized into the data analyst and the data scientist career path. So if you find yourself in AI, you find yourself as a machine learning engineer, machine learning specialist, AI researcher, you're in a career path that would grow, that is in demand today and would keep on growing over the next 10 to 15 years. You have the business intelligence analyst. The BI analyst is a derivative of the data analyst. So as a data analyst, you can also apply to jobs as a business intelligence analyst. Then you have the data analyst and the data scientist clearly written in the World Economic Forum. So we started to see early that part of the top career path that would grow, as highlighted by the World Economic Forum, aligns to the analysis that we had done in-house by scraping data from the major job boards and seeing the career path that would be in demand. Number two, you have the information security analyst, and these are the cybersecurity professionals. They protect your system, they protect the data, they protect the network of organization. Number three, you have the data engineers, you have the big data specialists, the data engineers, and the database architects. These are the professionals that ensure that when data is generated, the data moves from where it is generated to where it can be stored in a structured environment for easy access. And these are your data engineers. Okay. So if you find yourself here, you're in a fantastic career path that would grow. Number four, you have the process automation specialist. These are your business analysts. The business analyst would ensure that processes within organizations are streamlined. If it takes 5 days, we reduce it to take 5 minutes by implementing different strategies and solutions. So those are the business analysts. If you find yourself in a business analyst career path, you are going to thrive. People thrived in 2024, and you would thrive in 2025. You also have, let's go to the next page. You have the project managers. Okay. But when you talk about project management, not the general project management as we are used to, not the traditional project management, but Agile. Okay. Agile project management, because this is the Agile methodology used within the tech ecosystem. Okay, coming up with products within the tech ecosystem. These are the professionals that are masters of the Agile methodology, the Scrum framework, the Kanban framework, the Lean framework. Okay, not your conventional project management. Then you have your database and network professionals. So these are also your data engineers, cybersecurity. We've talked about that in the previous page. You have your financial analysts. Okay, the financial analysts are professionals. They are data analysts that focuses on financial records. Okay. Now, looking at this page, you'd also get to see at the right-hand side, career path that would decline. The accountants and the auditors fall within one of the career paths that will decline. And I'm sure we have accountants on the call. But don't fret. What this simply means is if I'm an accountant and I want to transition easily, all I need to do is add data to my accounting skills. And if I can do that, I can pivot from the right-hand side where my job would fast decline in the coming years to a career path like a financial analyst, a financial planning and analysis professional, a credit analyst, a sales analyst, a commercial analyst, and so on and so forth. So these are the 8 career paths. So we saw very clearly that the World Economic Forum was speaking the same message that we had seen when we did our analysis. So I want to ask my first question for today. All right. So we have the data analytics career path, the data science, data engineering, cybersecurity, business analysis, financial analytics, HR analytics, and the Agile project management, Scrum Master. The mistake a lot of people make is assume wrongly that because I learned data analytics, I cannot apply to a business intelligence analyst role, but that's not true. As a data analyst, I can apply to jobs as a sales analyst, market analyst, product analyst, database analyst and administrator, and so on and so forth. Same with the Agile project manager. As an Agile project manager, I can get a job as a Scrum Master, an Agile coach, an Agile project manager, a lean Agile coach, and so on and so forth. And these are the things we show you how to do, searching and applying to jobs on a broad scale. So my first question, out of these 8 career paths, which of these 8 career paths are you interested in? Okay, type into the chat. Which of these 8 career paths are you interested in? Oladimeji says data science, Emmanuel, data science, Ngozi, financial analyst, JK, data analyst, project manager, Imran, Nadine, data analyst. Fantastic. Let's keep it coming. Yewande says data science. Brilliant. Cybersecurity. Absolutely phenomenal. That's the first thing you must do. The power of focus. A lot of people make the mistake to always want to do too many things. So today they are doing something. Somebody tells them that, oh, the jobs are here. They leave that thing they are doing and they move to the other career path. So you have to stay committed. Okay. And there is something I want you to take down today. If you have a notepad, you have a pen, take this down. Okay. Commitment is the elimination of alternatives. So just write that down. It's very important. Commitment is the elimination of alternatives. So going into 2025, you have to stay committed. And I gave examples during my Instagram live yesterday. For you to be here listening to me, you had to eliminate the alternative of watching Netflix, watching YouTube, watching Amazon Prime, going out for something else, and so on. You stayed committed to joining this session by eliminating something. For those of you that are married or you have girlfriends, you have a spouse, you have to eliminate all the other people and stayed committed to one person. So that'll be my charge to you today. All right. You need to focus on one career path. Select that career path and double down. So, and for you to stay committed, and it's not by saying I want to focus, it's by saying, what do I need to eliminate? Okay, I'm going to eliminate data analytics. I would eliminate data engineering, and I'm going to focus on data science. Okay, so remember, commitment is the elimination of alternatives. Now, how do you get into these areas? I talked about over 350 people that got jobs last year, over 2,850 that have gotten jobs over the last 4 years, going into the 5th year. So what strategies did we deploy and how did we help them get there? Okay, and this is very practical, and I'll show you exactly what you must do. This is the winning formula. It doesn't go beyond this. It's a 6-step approach, very straightforward. We're not gatekeeping, and I'll share every single thing you need to do step by step, 6 steps. All right. Now, what's the strategy? Number one is what you've done already. When I asked the question, which career path would you like to get into? So you must identify a career path. And remember, you stay committed by eliminating the alternatives. You don't stay confused. You jump from data analytics to business analysis. Tomorrow you're moving to project management. No, you focus, select a career path, and you focus on that. Okay. So that's number one. Identify your desired career path. So let's use Victoria as an example. Victoria is a customer service rep, but she wants to become a data engineer. The first step, she's completed the first step by knowing that, okay, I don't want to become a cybersecurity analyst or a business analyst. I want to become a data engineer. What's the second step? So once you've completed the first step, identifying the career path, the second step is to learn the skills. Now, how do you learn the skills? The mistake a lot of people make, and I made the mistake myself, okay, is trying to learn in a self-paced environment, 100% self-paced, trying to learn on YouTube, trying to learn on Coursera. It's one of the biggest mistakes you would ever make transitioning from one career to the other career path. And why do I say so? Now, imagine you watched videos on YouTube, you've practiced and everything, and you have an interview. How do you prepare for your interview? Question number one. Question number two, you stumble on a problem where you've written the type of queries you've seen on the screen, but you didn't get the same type of results. Your results are a bit different. Who do you call? Who do you reach out to help you solve the problem? And that was where I found myself, over 10 years ago when I was trying to also transition. I faced so many problems, myself and the co-founder, Efemena. We faced problems because would write, and that was in SQL, structured query language, would write a query and would get errors. And we didn't know why we're getting errors. And would spend 2 weeks figuring out that problem. It's very frustrating for anybody who is starting newly and you don't want to find yourself in that situation. Okay. Now, for you to not make the same mistakes people have made in the past, the best way to learn is to have the opportunity to speak to people and learn from people that are currently on that job. They've done the job, they have experience, they're currently on the job. So they can tell you what works, what you should ignore, the mistakes they've made so you don't make similar mistakes. So you always should learn in a blended learning approach. Okay, blended. And what's a blended approach? You have a self-paced part of your training and you have a live session where you get to interact with a real human being. You can share your screen, show the problems you have, and you can get immediate direct feedback. That's the best thing you want to do. And that's what we do at Analytics. So you have a self-paced platform and you have an instructor-led class where you have a live class with somebody like myself. I'm walking you through projects. We are solving problems together. You can ask questions and you get to interact with an industry professional. That's how you should learn. That's number two, and it's very important. And I'll show you what the self-paced platform looks like, what the live platform also looks like very quickly. And then I'll go to step number three. Okay. So let's quickly go to, the self-paced platform, for example. So once you go to the Tenalytics website, tenalytics.io, for those that have registered, of course, if you haven't paid, you don't have access to a dashboard. But this is the dashboard, my own dashboard. If I click on this, it takes me to the program I've registered for. I can watch my videos. So you'd see welcome back, Adeza. Let me maximize this so you can see it a bit better. Okay, so you'd see welcome back, Adeza, today's date, January 11th, and so on and so forth. Now, one of the amazing things of being on this platform is if I have an interview, I'm not stranded because all I've done for the last couple of months is to watch YouTube videos and all of that, or watch Coursera videos or Udemy. What I've done is I've worked with a platform, I've worked with people that can help me, that can stand by me, that can prepare me for the eventual job market. The conventional ways of applying would not work anymore. We had a session on that last week, Thursday, during our mentorship session, and I'll share it with you. If I have an interview, all I need to do is come in here, click on schedule appointment. Your name is already automatically captured. You select the program you've joined. Say you've joined data analytics, you select that. You copy and paste the job link, all right? You write the details, copy and paste the details about the organization, what stage of the interview. You put all of that. Let's say it's the first level, the job description. What dates do you want to be prepared? Say your interview is on Monday, for example. You can select to be prepared tomorrow, Sunday, the 12th of January. You upload the CV you have used to apply, and then you schedule your interview prep. So when you see the number 350, this is how it comes. This is how these numbers materializes. They have people. She had a professional she worked with that prepared her for her interview. The lady who sent a WhatsApp message that I've gotten the job, she sent a message when she had her interview, her offers, and invitation for interviews. She had people that prepared her and worked with her. So that's number one. Then you can also go into the classes, the programs you've registered. See, I've registered with Analytics for a business analysis program. All I need to do is come here, click on continue learning, and it takes me to where I can watch my videos in a self-paced environment. Okay. I don't need to join a class every day. I can log into this platform. I can watch my videos. I can practice, solve problems from week 0, where you have your introduction, installations of all the tools. I'll speak about them. How to create a portfolio. I'm going to speak about that. Your materials. Okay. The job description of a business analyst, the CV templates that you need, to tailor your CV from time to time. You have all of that right here. Then you can jump into your very first class. Okay, Excel for analytics, introduction to Excel. You watch all these videos, and this is your self-paced platform essentially. Every single part of this platform, every single module comes with what? A case study. Okay, so I'm trying to learn introduction to business analysis. Part of my case study includes what? Enhancing customer experience for A1 clothing, streamlining operations at Rohit Manufacturing. So I'm not just watching videos and watching it as if I'm watching a movie. I'm watching and practicing. I have case studies that were created based on the experience of professionals. So these are real life companies. The names have been changed. The data have been changed for data privacy. So you can't trace any part of the case study to a real organization. Okay, so I can click on this and I can watch the videos, see what the case study is all about. If you cast your mind, okay, see what the case study is all about, work on the case study, and so on. And this is your self-paced platform. Okay, you have the opportunity to work with our AI chatbot called Oluko. Okay, for those of you that are Yoruba, you know what Oluko means. We decided to name our AI trainer Oluko. So if you have an interview, you've written a code, you have an error, and you just want to solve it yourself very quickly, you can come in here and you can use Oluko to do that for you. Because of time, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of going down into Oluko. So depending on the program you've registered for, you'd get to see that here. And then you have a live class. The live platform is a different platform from the self-paced. And I'll show you what a typical live class looks like. Let's go to a class that started sometime in November because they've covered quite a lot. So when you go to the live platform, this is where the lady who got that job that indicated, I'll show you where she indicated it again, that this offer or this job came from one of the jobs you sent to us. So every single week, we scrape jobs from the major job boards. Jobs are, platforms with sponsored jobs for those in the UK who want to move from a student visa or a dependent visa to a tier 2 visa, a skilled worker visa. We post these jobs every single week. Okay, so all you have to do is come in here, you click on this link, it takes you to the different jobs that we post. Okay, you see the jobs that come with sponsorship, you see them listed as yes, and you see all these jobs posted. She applied to one of these jobs, and that was how she got the opportunity that she got. Okay, so I'm not going to, spend time on this. I want to show you what a live class looks like. All right. You have your mentorship sessions here as well. Every Thursdays, you have mentorship sessions. But let's see what a live class looks like. Let's go to the Power BI class that held, in December. Now, every single live class is where you have the opportunity to interact with a professional. You solve problems, you solve case studies together. And every single live class is case study based. And this is the only way you get experience, because the case studies are designed from real world experience. Okay. We take the experience, my experience for over a decade, we couch it into case studies, and you get to work on them. So you're working on the same problems I worked on as a data analyst, as a data scientist, and you also get to solve similar problems. So this is a problem, a case study for Pinnacle Properties in the real estate sector, and you're helping them understand their data. You're helping them model their data, help them understand what the key drivers for sales and so on. And you'd see what the problem statement is, the objective of this particular case study, which is to ensure that everybody in this organization have access to the reports by publishing the reports using the Power BI service. All right. And this is what you get to work on, and you have access to the recording. So you see what the live class looks like. So you join a live class, you work with a trainer, you work with an expert, you solve problems together, and you have the opportunity to ask questions. Okay. Your live classes are on Saturday. So this is a live class going on. That's the facilitator, Amaka Daniels, walking them through how to create the report, publish it on Power BI service, and so on and so forth. And that's the beauty of a live class. So you're not just watching videos from A to Z. You have the opportunity to interact with top professionals. Okay. Now, that's the second step, learning in a blended approach. So make no mistake thinking you can make that transition by just watching videos on your own. And you'd see where the live sessions become very important as well as I move on during my slide. Now, out of the 6-step approach, you've identified the career path. You are learning in a self-paced environment, and also you have a live session. What's the next step? You must gain experience. Okay. And it's counterintuitive because I'm learning. How do I gain experience? You gain experience not just by going to the office, a physical office. You can gain experience by working on projects. Employers want to see that you've done it before. Nobody cares about the paper you have that shows that you've done this before. They don't want to see a paper. They don't want to see a certification. They don't want to see your master's degree. What they want to see is, show me evidence that you can use Tableau to build reports and help us solve problems. Where have you done it before? And how can you convince us that you're the right person for the job? So now this is Victoria. Victoria has shown that, okay, I want to become a data engineer. I'm learning in a self-paced, a blended learning approach. I've also created a portfolio based on all the problems I've solved in class, the case studies, the capstone project, and so on. My internship, I've been able to do what? Build a portfolio. So I'm going to show you what a portfolio looks like. Let's look at Onwachuku first of all, then Victoria as a data analyst. Onwachuku joined our data engineering program. Okay, so every single person that joins any of the program, you must have a portfolio. And let me ask this question, okay, to see if I'm in the right frame of mind and if you agree with what the concept of you showcasing that you have experience really means. Number one is, imagine you want to get a couch, a new couch for your living room. It's 2025. You are making changes. You have somebody, a carpenter, who has certification that they've gone to carpentry school and they had a distinction in carpentry school. You have a carpenter B that has a showroom. You can go into the showroom of that carpenter. You can see the couches they've built. You can touch and feel the quality of the type of couches. Who would you buy the couch from? From the person who has a paper to show that he's gone to carpentry school, or the person who has a showroom? Just type in the chat A or B. Kester says B. Okay, so just type in the chat A or B. B, 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 B. Everybody's saying B. Blessing says B. Oladimeji says B, and so on and so on. Okay, brilliant. Everybody says B, but think about it. When you speak to an African, what would they say? Oh, I want to write this certification and that certification and this certification. Nobody cares. We have a saying at Analytics: competence over credentials. That's a phrase we stand by. Competence over credentials. Your credentials are your certifications, your degree. They mean nothing. Your competence is what employers are looking for. Okay? They want somebody who has the skills and the experience. And that's what your competence is all about. It comprises of your skills and experience. So always remember this. Put it at the back of your mind. Competence over credentials. Okay? Okay, somebody's asking a question about the timing, Gloria. So we have timing for every single region. All right, every single region, from the US to Canada to the UK, and I would, speak about that as I move on. All right, just sit back, relax, and I'll walk you through all the different aspects of the program. But let's look at Onwachukwu's portfolio. Okay, now what does this portfolio mean? It shows different projects that Onwachukwu has worked on. I can click on one of them and it takes me to that particular project. So this is an energy efficiency project. Okay, he built a recommendation model, and anybody can come here and read about it, the objective, the data set. This particular link is on his LinkedIn profile. So anybody who goes to Onwachukwu's LinkedIn would have access to this. Anybody who goes to his CV can also come here. So recruiters, hiring managers can see what Onwachukwu has done. Now, even more importantly, more than just reading what Onwachukwu has done, I can look at the codes Onwachukwu has written in solving this problem. Okay, so I can see the different libraries he used, the different libraries and using Python, NumPy, Pandas, scikit-learn, and so on and so forth. I can scroll all the way down and see how he cleaned his data, how he removed blanks, how he was able to scale the data set, how he was able to train his model, select the model to use, and so on and so forth. And anybody who sees this, without a doubt, would know that Onwachukwu is the right person for the job. And that's why having a portfolio is very important. Having a showroom where people can go in and they can see what you've done. I'll show you a practical example of what this means using somebody who is still currently in our program doing exactly what I'm explaining. Okay, so I'll go to Victor's profile, Victor Omoboye. Victor is in our data science program. The moment you go to Victor's profile, what do you see? You see Victor's summary. You see that he works with analytics, and you can see Victor's portfolio. This is the link to his portfolio. So I don't need to even sit with Victor to ask questions to know how good Victor is for this role. And this cuts across all the programs at Tenalytics. This is your proof of work, your proof of experience, your proof that you can do the job, your competence, which supersedes any credential any day, anytime. So if I click on Victor's link, for example, it takes me to Victor's portfolio. employee attrition analysis, real estate price prediction, stock price prediction using time series. I can click on any of these projects and I can see what Victor has done. Okay, you can read the introduction, the methodology that was used, the exploratory data analysis, EDA, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then I can look at, his codes, the Python codes he wrote, and so on. And I can see clearly that Victor is the best person for this particular role. So you must have evidence that you can do the job. And that's number 3, the third step. So if you're a data analyst, you haven't been able to get a job, trust me, the major reason is you have no evidence that you can do the job. Nobody cares if you learned on Coursera, you learned on Udemy, you learned anywhere, you learned at Analytics. What they want to see is, have you done it before? Can you do it for us? How do you answer questions during the interview? Do you answer questions in a way that shows that you don't have the experience, or do you answer questions as somebody who has done these things before? Now, once you've done this, we go to number 4. Number 4 is where I dare say this is the most important part of your transitioning. A lot of people find it very difficult because they don't have the employability skills. And for us at Analytics, we know very clearly that it is a T plus E equation. Technical plus employability. Okay, and I'm going to talk about the employability skills. So you could have the technical skills. You could be the best in the use of Python, the best in the use of Jira as a project manager or as a business analyst, best in the use of Trello, best in the use of AWS, cloud services, best in the use of GCP. However, you don't know how to tailor your CV. So what we do for you is we show you how to tailor your CV, and then we help you tailor your CV. So you have a CV review, CV revamp, not using one CV to apply to numerous jobs, but using one CV to apply to one job. So tailoring your CV to the job requirements. What exactly do they need? And how do I ensure that my application meets that requirement, but by at least 85 to 90%. So there is something we call job matching. Okay, there is something we call job matching. So we show you how to match your jobs using different AI platforms like JobRite, JobScan. When you do your job matching and you see that you have, let's say, 77%, if you put in this application, you would never get the job. You would never get the job. So how do you ensure you can increase the 77% to 85 or 90% before you put in the application? Okay, just to be clear, can you still hear me clearly? If you can still hear me, I think I just had a slight glitch. Just type in a yes into the chat. And don't forget, fill the attendance form and ensure that you get all the materials at the end of the session. So that's where your CV comes in. Thank you very much. Fantastic. I think I'm still audible and loud and clear. So you increase from 77 to 85 to 90%. And we have sessions on that. Okay. If I go back to the live class, just to show you very quickly, under the mentorship session, if you go to the mentorship session, we had a session using AI in job application. So this was a live session that held in November, on the 8th of November, where I showed everybody who attended that session how to use different AI platforms, including ChatGPT, JobRite, to ensure that you can increase your job match from 60% to 90%. Okay. And if for any reason you miss a session like this, you can always go back and watch that session again. Brilliant. So that's me right there. This is JobRite. We went on JobRite. I would show you exactly where you look at the job. If you have a good match, you have at least 85%. If it's less than that, how do you take that into a tool like ChatGPT, a tool like JobScan to help you tailor that CV to the job requirement. Okay, so when you go back, you'd increase your match by at least 90% before you put in the application. Okay, then you have LinkedIn optimization. So when you see Victor's LinkedIn the way it is, he didn't just do it out of the blues. We would show you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile to attract the biggest and the best organizations out there, how to navigate the job market, where are the jobs. Okay, we had a session on this last Thursday where the session focused on unconventional job search strategies. Okay, the normal way of just applying and applying does not work anymore. It represents just 30% of the success stories. 70% comes from what? Unconventional strategies. And these were the strategies we shared with the people that just registered in December and in January. And this held on Thursday, the 9th. So you can see the topic unconventional job search strategies. And for anybody who missed this session, you can always go back, watch the recording. That's me right there showing you how to ensure that you can apply to jobs in different ways. And I'll give you a hint on one of the unconventional job strategies you need to deploy in 2025. Okay, so this is a free gift to you. You have to start visiting innovation and tech accelerators. You want to get a job as a project manager. Where do you find the co-founders, the founders of companies, of startups that can easily hire you and get you into the organization without going through all the major, hurdle of the job application process? Go on Google and search innovation hubs close to me, tech accelerators near me. You'd see the tech accelerators, attend some of their meetups and some of their events. One of them in my province where I stay is called Edmonton Unlimited. Okay, so I'll take you to Edmonton Unlimited website just to give you a highlight of exactly what I'm saying. Now, Edmonton Unlimited is a part of Platform Calgary, the Alberta Innovation Program as well. All you have to do, if you're in Alberta and you search Edmonton Unlimited, it brings up this website. Just go to events and click on events. Okay, and you'd see the events they have from January all through the year. One that I find very exciting is the community coffee. So if you're in London, for example, there is one called the Silicon Roundabout. You want to look at that, but just type on Google, innovation hubs, tech accelerators near me, close to me. Community coffee is a free, you go in there, you take coffee, you take pretzels, you take cookies for free, and you get to interact with people that can hire you. Okay, I'm a part of this, so I know exactly what goes on in there. So that's part of the strategies we deployed, and people are already getting success stories out of that based on the advice and mentorship over the last couple of months. So it's important that you must know how to navigate your job market. Where are the opportunities and where are the jobs? And interview prep. So once you've applied, you've tailored your CV, and you have an interview, how do you prepare? Are you the type that will go on Google or go on ChatGPT or go on YouTube to prepare for your interviews? You need to prepare with somebody who has been on that job before, in that region, in that country, that can guide you and tell you exactly what to do. And I'll give you a very quick story on why this is very important. So if you go to the platform, I showed you where you have your interview prep. There was this lady who was confused. She worked with the Newcastle NHS Trust, and she'd been applying to jobs. She joined our data engineering program, and she also got a job. She got an offer from the Northumbria NHS Trust, and she was confused. Okay, what do I do? Okay, which of the offers should I accept? Newcastle wasn't willing to sponsor her. Northumbria was willing to sponsor. However, she wanted to stay at Newcastle because Newcastle had a more developed data team. So what we did was very simple, and I advised her, Do an email. This is a structure. This should be the structure of the email to the your line manager at Newcastle, and let them know exactly what you want. Okay. She did that. They had a meeting with HR, and HR said, okay, we are going to give you, yes, we can give you sponsorship, but we also want you to go through the entire, at least until you have about, I think, 6 months left on your post-study visa. Okay. And that's what you'd see employers doing today. If you're on post-study, they don't sponsor you immediately because they want to save costs. So they let you stay on your post-study visa. You stay on that until you are almost, out of status on your post-study visa before they sponsor you. And based on the advice we gave to her, she selected the Newcastle Trust, and she's there with her sponsorship today. Okay, so that's what you get when you have the opportunity to speak with people who have worked in that region, who have done things, they've worked in that capacity, and they can tell you exactly what to do and what not to do. And you saw the references at the beginning of the session. For those that joined late, I'll probably go back to show you. All right. So Shay, Robert Half reached out to us. The other organization in the UK reached out to us. And that's how organizations would reach out. And that's simply because you don't position yourself as a trainee. Imagine you have a company. Are you going to hire a trainee to work for you in a critical area or critical part of your business? The answer is no. So what you want to do every single time is tailor your CV, tailor your LinkedIn in a way that positions you as a professional, as an expert, as somebody doing that job. All right. So if you go on LinkedIn and see all the people that have gotten jobs, which I'll still share with you, but let's just quickly go. I'll show you very quickly. Okay, let's go on LinkedIn. So even Victor, if you go to Victor's CV, for example, Victor's LinkedIn, Victor is what? He's a data scientist with Analytics. He's not a trainee with Analytics. So let's check more. Let's go to Sonia. Sonia joined us, I think, about 2023, if I'm correct. If you go to Sonia, she currently works with BAT in the UK. Sonia is what? A HR analyst with Analytics on what? Contract. All right. And so many other professionals. Busola, I think. Busola De Sonia. Busola joined us last year as well. After 3 months in our program, she got a job as a performance analyst with Desjardins in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So if you look at her LinkedIn, data analyst with Analytics, the organization reached out to me. I provided Busola's reference for her to get this job. She got the job last year in July. She's 7 months into the role. That's how you do what? Position yourself. And that's the only way you can request for a reference letter. If you position yourself as somebody who is on the job, not as somebody who is learning in that aspect. Nobody would hire you if you're a learner. If you get a job and you need support, we provide you with support for 1 month to ensure that you have a soft landing, to ensure that you don't find anything too difficult. Now, if you look at all these aspects, number 4 seems to be like the most important when it comes to preparing for the job. So yes, you've learned the technical skills from here. You've built experience, built a portfolio from here. But how do you have conversations during an interview? How do you introduce yourself using different techniques like the SEAT approach, using techniques like the STAR approach? And that's where the interview prep comes in. What is SEAT? S for skills, E for experience, A for achievements, and T for traits or type of person. And this is how you must introduce yourself. You first of all talk about your skills, your experience, your achievements, and your traits. And we hold a mock session where you'd have to introduce yourself this way. And that's where you start getting opportunities. So people don't get jobs by chance. It's by implementing these strategies. Number 5, after you've selected your career path, number 1, you've learned the skills in a self-paced environment, live session, number 2, you've gained experience, you've worked on case studies and projects, you have a portfolio, number 3. Number 4, you know how to tailor your CV, you have a revamped CV, you know keyword optimization, you can beat the ATS system, the applicant tracking system. You have a proper LinkedIn profile. You know how to navigate the job market. You know how to apply. You know that it takes about 249 applications to get a job offer. So you know the number of applications you need to put out every day, every week, every month. Okay. Number 4, you've gained your employability skills. What next? Networking and mentorship. So I talked about the mentorship session. This happens every single Thursday. And for the person asking about timing, what happens with the mentorship is Thursday last week, for example, was for people in the UK and in similar time zones. So if you're in Nigeria, Ghana, similar time zones, you're in Europe, you join that session. The next session the following week would be for those in the US and Canada. Okay, so every other week, depending on your region, you have a mentorship session, and we have timings that favor you, irrespective of your location. All right, so you have your mentorship session. I showed you some of the ones we had last week. Last Thursday, we talked about unconventional job search strategies using AI and so on. And we have so many sessions. The mentorship sessions are absolutely phenomenal. Okay, importance of building in public, interview simulation session, recruiter series where we bring recruiters from Canada, recruiters from the UK, and so on and so forth. And you have the opportunity to join these sessions every single week. And if you miss any, the recordings are always available to you. All right. Now, that's number 5, mentorship. Okay. Number 6 is networking. And networking is where you go to a location like Alberta Catalyzer, for example, the Edmonton Unlimited. We show you exactly how to network. When you've put in a job application, how do you find the LinkedIn profile of the hiring manager? Or how do you find a peer in that organization that can unlock some doors for you? We show you how to do this. All right. Another aspect of networking is a particular gentleman. His name is Stephen Anointing. I'll show you his profile very quickly. Okay, just to make things practical. Stephen. Okay, let me use Anointing. Yes, so that's him right there. Stephen Anointing. Stephen joined our program. Okay. 2 programs actually. He joined our data analytics program and then our data science program. You'd see that right here. That was sometime in 2023. Okay. He used to work with Tesco as a customer service professional. After completing our program, he got his first job with the Accees Group as a data analyst. Then he got his next job last year. I provided his reference. We worked with him and he got this job as a performance data analyst. But that's not the interesting stuff about Steven. The interesting thing, which relates to networking, is before Steven got this job, or after he got his offer, the organization were also trying to hire 2 more data analysts. And Steven reached out to me. He told me about it. We sent the message to the WhatsApp group. It was location specific. They wanted somebody who lived either in Edinburgh or in Glasgow, Scotland. All right. So we sent the message and we had people who indicated interest. We put forward their CV and 2 people out of 10 analytics also got this job. So that's where networking comes in. Very, very important. Okay, so you have somebody who is in a role, who is in an organization, a role becomes open, they send it into your WhatsApp group, they send it into the alumni community, and you have the opportunity to apply to those type of jobs. These are the steps that have gotten over 2,850 people their jobs, that got 350 people their jobs in 2024. Okay, so it always seems impossible until it is done. A lot of people would think, are there jobs? Can I get a job? Is it possible to get a job? And there's so many success stories. You have somebody like Adetayo. Adetayo, 60 to 70% into the program, he got a job as a cybersecurity professional. You have this amazing lady who got a job as a customer service insights analyst, and so on and so forth. You have Ikmat. Ikmat was a stay-at-home mom. Ikmat got a job with the NHS as a data analyst after completing our data analytics program. Her job came with full visa sponsorship, and she was able to land this job. You have somebody like Ramat. Ramat also works with the NHS, full visa sponsorship. She used to be a customer service rep. She joined our business analysis program, and today Ramat is a business architect, full visa sponsorship as well. She moved from a student visa to a skilled worker visa. You have Toyin, who was a pharmacist, nothing related to tech, no experience, and she got a job as a benefit analyst, also working with the NHS. We always like to brag that we have over 57 Tenalytics alumni working with the NHS. Okay, one organization alone, we have over 57. The reason is we have a strategy because the NHS would give you sponsorship easily. So we know how their process is, the kind of interviews, the presentations, the case studies, and we prepare our students accordingly to get those type of jobs. I'll play one of the videos for you because I've kept links. You can get to listen to these amazing professionals and how they were able to get these jobs. All right. You have somebody like Abisola. Abisola joined our data science program, and today Abisola is a machine learning engineer. She couldn't get interviews before she joined. She had a bit of understanding of data science, but she could not get any interviews. For the interviews she got, she knew she flunked them. She messed up until she came to us a month into the program after attending 4 mentorship sessions. She had 2 interviews. One gave her the role as a Python curriculum developer, and the second one gave her her current job as a machine learning engineer because she had the preparation that she needed. You have Fikayo. Fikayo had a finance and accounting background. She joined our data science program, and today Fikayo is a business solutions analyst with a company in Ontario, Canada. So I'm going to play Fikayo's video first of all. I want you to listen to Fikayo, and I'll probably play another video where you get to listen to another professional that also got a job last year, 2024. So these are all 2024 roles, and let's get to listen to Fikayo. So remember, if you want to receive my slide at the end of the session, ensure you fill the attendance form. So you see the 6-step strategy, identifying where you want to be. Fikayo was in finance and accounting, but she decided, I want to do data science, okay, in Canada. Number 2, she learned in our self-paced environment and live classes. She has a portfolio of projects as proof of work and proof of experience. She knew how to tailor her CV. We prepared her for our interview. You're going to listen to that when you hear her talking about the interview prep and so on and so forth. And she had the opportunity to join the mentorship session and join all the networking sessions as well. So let's listen to Fikayo and enjoy Fikayo's story.
I'm so happy.
Okay, so I want to be sure that you can all hear Fikayo. So I'm just going to check that my audio is up. Okay, I think it is. Yes. Okay, so sit back, relax, listen to Fikayo, and I'll probably play one more for you. So you get to listen to people, the way they've been able to transition by themselves, okay, for themselves in terms of from their own mouth, hearing all the things they did, the strategies, how they implemented all the things we advised them to do. So let's hear Fikayo out.
I'm so happy I got the job. I got the job 1 month to the end of my program. Good afternoon. My name is Oyefikayo Adesina. I got to know about analytics through one of their Instagram adverts at that point where I just needed a direction. I would say that is still one of the best decisions I've ever made in my career. Ever since I joined them, the classes, resources, instructors, they are great people. They are always there to support you. You have the Watch Me Do It videos. where you can go at your learning pace, and you have the Saturday classes, you have assignments, you have team project where you learn, you work with different people on your team. Joining Analytics has helped me a lot because my background is finance. I'm new to tech. I've never done coding in my life, but now I can tell you I have a very good grasp of what is going on. They have the live sessions, they have the weekly, they have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday programs where you can join CV review sessions, where you can review your CV. You have your interview review sessions. This kind of support they give to you, you will be surprised. When I booked my interview session, they were really on my case. Like, they just gave me that support, they gave me that confidence I needed for the interview. And I'm so happy I got the job. I got the job 1 month to the end of my program, and even after getting it, getting a reference letter, like all the support you need to succeed, they will hold you by the hand till you are where you need to be.
Okay, so that's Fikayo. I'm sure you listened to Fikayo's story, and every other story, sounds very similar. It's a process and it's a strategy that works. Okay. Interview prep, mentorship session, knowing how to tailor your CV, having a portfolio as proof of experience, having somewhere a reputable organization that can vouch for you when the organization requests for a reference. Okay. So what I'm going to do going into the next part of our session is show you all the different career paths, from the business analyst to the data analyst, data scientist, data engineer, project management. What are the skills you need to learn? What tools and technologies do you need to learn to get in? We're going to talk about that, and then we'll finally talk about what it takes to be a part of any of the programs. Okay. If you've enjoyed the session up until this moment, just type in a yes into the chat before we move on. Type in a yes into the chat. Type in a yes into the chat. Fantastic. Absolutely phenomenal. All right. Now, we've heard from Fikayo. You know the strategies you need to deploy. You know that. You know where the jobs are, the different career paths you need to look at. Now, how do you get into those areas? The skills that would help you land these jobs in 2025, how do you get into them? Okay, now let's take the business analysis career path, and I'll try to move very fast because of time, so I can walk you through all these parts, and then we move into what it takes for you to get in. Okay, and I'll take questions before we call it a day. Now let's look at the business analysis career path, and let's use a scenario to explain this. Imagine that you have a friend who runs a business, and the business sell bags. Okay, the business sells bags. So your friend sells bags, handmade bags, and they have problems with their customers. Customers have been complaining of delayed deliveries, and they've also been complaining about getting incorrect orders. So they are losing customers. You are the business analyst. You come into your friend's business. What do you do first? The business analyst in any organization has one fundamental role. Okay, every business has three major components: the people, processes, and technology, tech. The business analyst focuses on what? The processes. You optimize the processes. You make the processes more efficient. You ensure that the company is efficient, increasing revenue, reducing losses, and so on and so forth. So you go into your friend's business to understand, first of all, why are they having these problems? Why are customers complaining? You map out the process from start till finish. How does the process of a customer buying a bag, how does it start and how does it end? So that's what you call the current state, the as-is state. How does things operate today as we speak, the as-is? All right. So you'd speak to different stakeholders within the organization, understanding what the process is, so you can map it out in a diagrammatic format. All right. And in understanding the process, you know that customers would order by making a phone call. When customers call, what happens? Somebody, a customer service professional, would write the order down. And when you write things down manually, there is a tendency for you to make mistakes. So when the customer service professional, a customer wants to buy a brown Coach bag or a brown Hermes bag, they write it down. Okay. They physically would check a notebook to see if that bag is available or not. So things are very manual in the organization. Then she also found out that once they've checked the notebook, the customer service professional would have to physically go to the store to check, is this item actually available? If it is available, they would print out the order details. They would prepare the shipping details, send it to the courier. The courier would come to pick it up and deliver to the customer. Now, the process is very manual because when a customer calls to order, they would give you so many details, the address, the type of bag, the color of the bag, and so on. There's a tendency to make mistakes. If you don't capture the postcode correctly, you can deliver to the wrong customer. And that's the problem customers have been having. They've been getting incorrect orders. They ordered for a brown bag, they got a blue bag. Okay. The deliveries have also been delayed. Now, you have mapped out the process of how a customer buys and how the product gets delivered to the customer. And you've identified that it takes 3 days and the process is very manual. As a business analyst, you still go to the next level, which is what should the future state look like? How can we optimize this process in a way that it doesn't take 3 days, in a way that it is more automated and not manual, so we can eliminate inefficiencies, the gaps within the process. So you do a lot of industry analysis, your competitor analysis, competitor research to see what other players within the market, what they do that has made them efficient. And as a business analyst, you recommend what the optimized or the future state should look like, the to be state. Okay. So rather than customers calling, you recommend that a company should have an order management system, should have a website where customers can go online to book and buy the bag. Okay. Once you've done that, the next step is once there's an order management system, there's a website, customers go online, they create a profile, they enter their details themselves, their address, which they're not likely going to make a mistake. Okay. It has an inventory management system where if you've entered into the website, into the order management system that I have 100 brown bags, when a customer orders for one, it reduces to 99. So easily you can see when you have low stock and you reorder or you restock that particular bag. You don't need to check a physical notebook or go into the store physically. And that's what the order management system, the website will do for you. Then you also, based on the order management system, all the details are generated automatically. The shipping details, the order details are generated automatically from the website, and it sends the details automatically to the courier, and the courier would deliver to the customer. So what have you done? You've helped this business understand where the gaps and inefficiencies exist by mapping out the process. You've carried out your research. You've seen what we need to do in order to optimize this process. So rather than taking 3 days, the process now takes 5 hours. And that's your role as a business analyst. Your role also involves ensuring everybody in that company understands how to use the website. So when that website is built and deployed, you are the change agent in that organization, ensuring that people know how to use the website. So you'd organize workshops, you organize training, and ensure that the change sticks within the organization. So in summary, that's what the business analyst would do. If your friend's company, this company doesn't have a project manager, as a business analyst, you would manage this project from start till finish. And that's why a component of the things you'd learn as a business analyst includes the Agile methodology, the Scrum framework, project initiation and planning, and so on and so forth. And that's the role of the business analyst. For you to get into the business analyst career path, you will need to learn some critical skills and technologies. First of all, the modern business analyst must understand how to work with data. So you'd learn Excel, you'd learn Power BI, and you'd learn SQL. Okay. And that's simply because you need to be comfortable with analyzing data, being able to build a dashboard, extract data from a database using SQL, structured query language, and so on. You start from that. So understanding these technologies that are data related gives you the opportunity to apply to jobs like the business data analyst roles. So the business data analyst role is simply a business analyst with a flavor of data skills. Okay. You can't apply to this role if you don't know how to use Excel, SQL, Power BI. All right. So once you've done this, what's the next step? The next step is for you to know how to map out processes. I talked about that. How does a process start? How does it finish? So you'd learn how to use tools like Lucid Charts, tools like Draw.io to do what? Map out process mapping. You'd learn project initiation and planning. You'd learn Agile and Scrum for projects. You'd learn the software development lifecycle, requirements fundamentals. So for you to even start understanding what needs to be built, that website we need to implement, what features should we have in order to have something that fits the requirements of this company? So you'd speak to all the different stakeholders, the customer service, the CEO, the head of store, the head of logistics and delivery. You speak to everybody and you create something we call a business requirement document. And that's what you'd share with the team that would build the website. You don't build the website yourself, it's a recommendation, but you ensure that you see that initiative through to its logical conclusion. You learn elicitation, asking the right questions to get the results that you need. You'd do your stakeholder analysis and engagements, knowing how to rank your stakeholders based on influence, knowing how to communicate with stakeholders, and so on. The project management part, you learn Jira to track project deliverables, Confluence to collaborate on projects. You'd learn Trello to track your team members working on projects. You'd learn Azure for your implementation of the software development lifecycle and ensuring that the Agile methodology is properly implemented. And then finally, you'd learn ChatGPT for business analysis. Okay, so for the person that asked about the timing, as a business analyst with Tenalytics, your live classes, remember, it's a blended learning approach. You have your live classes and then you have the self-paced. The self-paced, you can log in anytime. You can watch your videos, practice along at your own convenience. Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Tuesday, you can log in anytime. But the live classes happens on Saturday. If you are in the UK, you are in Nigeria, you are in Europe, similar time zone, your class would run from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. UK West African time. If you are in the US or in Canada, your class would run from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain time. Okay. So if you're in Alberta, for example, 10 a.m. Alberta time would be roughly 12 noon in Ontario. Okay. So depending on your location, there is a time that fits your time zone. Eastern time in the US, 10 a.m. would be 12 noon. Okay. So there's a class that fits your time zone. For those in the UK, for those in Europe, you have a class 11 a.m. Now, if you can't join that class in the morning, you have the opportunity to join the class that happens later in the evening, your time, for those in the US and Canada, which would be 6 p.m. your time. All right. So it's flexible for you to join different classes. Every other day, you have the self-paced. On Saturdays, you have your live classes. The timeline is that we have two options. The first option is for 8 months. The second option is for 12 months. Option one is you have 6 months learning in class, working on projects, interacting with your facilitator, solving problems, and so on. And then you have 2 months internship. Option two is the 12 months program, where you have 6 months learning in class and you have 6 months internship. So the internship is elongated for those who would love to have more internship, more work experience, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is a new change we implemented in 2025. All right. So if you had a friend who recommended you or who referred you to join this session today, they're likely in a different structure compared to what you'd be learning. So taking feedback from last year, we implemented a new system that makes it flexible and easier for you to learn all the things you need to learn and have the opportunity to have an elongated internship for those who want to have an elongated internship. All the success stories you've seen so far, they all went through the 1 month or 2 months internship. So the 6 months internship is something new we are implementing in 2025 based on the request from some people. So that's business analysis. Okay. So if you want to get into business analysis, take a screenshot of this. These are the skills, the technologies, and the tools you need to learn. Now, for an organization that have a project manager, an agile project manager. Once the business analyst has recommended that this is what we need to do, we need to implement a website, the project manager takes over from there. So the business analyst becomes the project owner. The agile project manager would lead that project from inception to completion. All right. And how is the agile project manager different? Project management in itself cuts across waterfall, the waterfall methodology, the agile methodology, and then you have a hybrid, which is called Wagile. Okay, Wagile is a combination of waterfall and agile. All right, agile waterfall in implementing this website would say that what you need to do, which is conventional, traditional project management, it's not in high demand today, is what waterfall would say. In building these websites, we are going to do what? Gather all the requirements. What do we need to have on the websites? Yes, we've done that. We've gotten all the requirements. You design. Okay. After designing, you implement by building. You start to build. After you build, you test. After you test, you deploy. After you deploy and people start using the platform, you do what? You maintenance. Okay. But this is very sequential and very traditional. Things don't work this way anymore. All right. That's because most of the time, you really don't know what your users would want. So if you build something that you assume they want, you might build a tool or a platform that is rigid and cannot be iterated, to make it better. And that's why Agile comes into play. So Agile is adaptive. It is not predictive. You don't gather and determine every single thing that needs to be built before you start to work on the project. So what Agile simply says you should do is take that website you want to build and break it into manageable parts, smaller manageable pieces called sprints. So let's assume part of the website would have the user login page, another part would have the storefront, where would have the product listings and the prices and everything. And you'd also have a part of the website for facial recognition. So you want to log in, you take your mobile phone, it has a facial recognition feature, and you break this into multiple parts. Each sprint takes about 2 to 4 weeks to get completed. Okay, so that's the first thing about Agile. We're not going to build everything at once. We'll break it into smaller, manageable pieces. And the process of coming up with the important aspects of these websites to break into pieces is called the sprint planning. Sprint what? Planning. This is one of the Scrum ceremonies, the sprint planning. So once you've identified sprint 1, we're going to build the user login page. It's going to take us 2 to 4 weeks. Once we are done with that, we deploy it to the users. The users would try to create a profile and log into the platform, and they will give us feedback. And based on the feedback, we make it better. Okay, once we are done with sprint 1, we move into sprint 2. We build our storefronts, deploy to the users, get feedback, make it better. Once we are done with sprint 2, we move to sprint 3. So we are not deploying it at the end of the entire project, but we are deploying it in what? Incrementally. And when you deploy incrementally, you deploy, get feedback, and make it better. So at the end of the day, this will take you a shorter period of building these websites and ensuring that at the end of completing this project, you've built a platform that aligns to the needs of the users, because you've gotten user stories, you've gotten feedback from them. And that's the role of the Agile project manager. So you're going to, the beauty about that is the Agile methodology in itself has 3 major frameworks. You have the Scrum framework, you have the Lean framework, and you have Kanban. And that's why an Agile project manager can get a job as a Scrum master. Okay, so it starts to make sense now. Okay, so rather than just learning Scrum, I can actually learn Agile. And I was speaking to somebody yesterday. She told me that I just went to pay 1,190 euros for a Scrum Master training. And guess what? The training is only for 4 days, just for 4 days. And she was telling me that she found out that it was only for 4 days and she requested for a refund. And they told her that because it was a Black Friday deal, you cannot get a refund. Unbelievable, just for Scrum. Now, here you're going to learn Agile. Okay, and you can get a job as an Agile project manager, as a Scrum master, as an Agile coach, as a PMO planner, PMO analyst, and so on and so forth. So you're going to learn introduction to project management, foundations of Agile and Scrum, the Scrum artifacts, increments, the product backlog. You'd learn Agile practices and so on. Use end-to-end use of Jira to track project deliverables. Use Trello to monitor your team members. You learn the Kanban boards for workflow management. The Nexus Scale Scrum, for example, which is implementing Scrum on a larger scale across multiple teams in an enterprise. And then we prepare you for the professional Scrum Master certification. All right. The program is also for 6 months learning, 2 months internship. And for those that want the elongated internship, you have 6 months in class and 6 months internship. So these are the 2 options you have. You have classes if you're in the UK, West Africa, similar time zones in Europe. You have a class 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you're in Canada, US, you have a class 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. All right. Every other day, you have a self-paced class. And that's the Agile project manager. Now, let's go to the next 3 career paths, and I'll take them at once. The data engineer, the data scientist, and the data analyst. As a data engineer, let's use the same scenario that we started with. Your friend has a company that makes bags. Okay. Now she's had people send her messages on Instagram. People have booked bags on Instagram. Now there's a website where all the transactions go through. She had Instagram, she had TikTok, and so on and so forth. And let's say the website is now here. She wants to know, how many bags did I sell in 2024? That's what she wants to know. How many bags did I sell in 2024? For her to answer this question, she needs to gather data from all these platforms, from Instagram, from TikTok, from the website, across the entire year, January till December 2024. The data engineer in any organization is that professional that extracts data from where data is generated and moves that data to a central location for easy access. I want you to refer to the data engineer as the data provider. They provide data. Think about them as the plumber. The plumber you go into your kitchen, you open up the tap, water flows. You go to your bathroom, you open up the tap, water flows. Why? Because somebody has connected pipes from a water source to that location so that when you open up the tap, what happens? Water flows. Your data engineers connect pipes to data sources. So data can flow through those pipes to where the data is needed. All right. The only difference is they don't use the pipes the plumber would use. They use Python to create those ETL pipelines. So the data engineer would extract data, create pipelines from Instagram, create pipelines from TikTok, extract the data transactions from TikTok, and also from the website, and funnel this data into a central location called the data warehouse. It's only when this data is available in a data warehouse, the data analyst and the data scientists can then do their jobs. They can extract the data from this warehouse using SQL, structured query language. The data warehouse does not understand English. For you to get data from the data warehouse, you have to use structured query language. But the role of the data engineer is to ensure that wherever the data resides, I move that data into a central location for easy access to any stakeholder within the organization that needs that data. So that's the data engineer. So now that you've moved the data from all the different sources into a central location, data is now available. The data analyst can then help you answer how many transactions did we have in 2024. So now we understand the role of the data engineer. They are the data providers. Now, once the data warehouse is available, DW, the data warehouse, the data analyst would extract data from this data warehouse to show number of transactions. So let's say from Q1 2024, Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay, how many bags did we sell? Q1 we sold 200 bags. Q2 we sold 500. Q3 we sold 100, and Q4 we sold 700. The data analyst at every single point in time would help the company answer two questions. Okay. Question number one that the data analyst would answer is what happened? Every business wants to know what happened in 2024. How many bags did we sell? Tenalytics wants to know how many customers did we get from Canada, from the US, from the UK. Netflix wants to know how many new subscribers did we get in Q4 2024. So every business wants to know what happened. And when you answer the question, what happened, you are getting into something called descriptive analytics. So that's the first thing the data analyst would do. Get data from the data warehouse, use a tool like Excel, Power BI, or Tableau to show in Q1 we had 200 customers, Q2 we had 500, Q3 we had 100, Q4 we had 700. That is what happened. Anybody who sees this would ask the question, why did we have an increase from 200 to 500 between Q1 and Q2? Why did we decline sharply from 500 to 100 between Q2 and Q3? And why did we increase again from 100 to 700? And that's where the data analyst must answer question number two, which is, why did it happen? Why did it happen? And this is the aspect of analytics called diagnostic analytics. So you're diving deeper into the data to find out why did what happen actually happen. And when you dive deeper to look for trends, to look for patterns, to look for events, you then know that, okay, between Q3 and Q4, we implemented a Black Friday deal. Between Q1 and Q2, we had new promotions, influencers that we deployed to help us boost the number of sales, and so on and so forth. As a data analyst, it's your role to find out why did what happen. Because if you know what happened that led to the sharp increase, you double down on that to ensure that the company keeps on improving their sales. If you know what happened that led to the decline between Q2 and Q3, you'd advise and recommend to the company to stop those things they did that led to that decline. So that's what the data analyst will do. Take the data from the data warehouse, use tools like Excel, Power BI, and so on to analyze to show what happened and why did it happen. Then the data scientist comes in and takes it a step further. The data scientists, let's call them data S, the data scientist, would answer question number 3. So now your friend who owns that company knows what happened in 2024 between Q1 and Q4. We are in 2025. She wants to know what will happen in Q1 2025. So Q1 has not ended. We're in January, we still have February, and we have March. The data scientist takes it a step further to answer the question, what will happen? And when you answer what will happen, you are simply that person, that Babalawo people go to meet, and they say, Babalawo, check what would happen if I travel tomorrow. Is it safe for me to travel? And they say, oh, it's not safe to travel. Don't travel tomorrow. Don't do this. Don't do that. My Nigerian people will know what Babalawo is. Babalawos are the witches, the wizards, those people that can see what would happen and say, oh, don't do this, don't do that, or this is what you should do. The only difference is that as a data scientist, you know what would happen, but you don't use those cowries. You don't use those crystal balls. You use Python and machine learning to predict the future. And when you are answering the question, what will happen? This is called predictive analytics. Predictive analytics. So you can tell based on historical data what happened in 2024 and why it happened. You use statistical modeling, statistical models, machine learning models to predict that in Q1, we are likely going to get 1,300 sales. So even before it happens, you can tell by using statistical models to predict the future. And that's what the data scientists would do. They would answer question number 1, what happened, why it happened, and what will happen. Okay. So as a data engineer, we know clearly the data engineers will do what? They ensure the data is available. And for you to do this, you must understand introduction to data engineering, what it's all about. SQL, structured query language, which is going to be your bread and butter. SQL and Python is what you'd use to create your data warehouse. Python for your ETL pipelines. You'd learn Linux for your bash scripting. You'd learn how to automate your data pipelines using tools like Apache, Spark, and Airflow. So you don't need the plumber to be available in order for water to run in your kitchen or in your restroom. As a data engineer, you also automate the process of getting data from where it is generated to where it should be by creating those automations. So you'd learn how to get data from databases, APIs, web scraping. You'd use Airflow and Spark for your automation. You'd learn cloud computing. I saw somebody send that in the chat earlier. Cloud computing using GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and Azure, Microsoft Azure. And then you'd learn GitHub for version control and ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot for AI in data science. So it's important that you have AI embedded into the programs. You'd see the data analyst. You'd also see the business analyst. There's ChatGPT for business analysis. Again, you have timings to cover the different regions. For the person that asked earlier, it doesn't matter where you are. There's a class that fits your schedule. Okay, and you have the 2 options. The 8 months option where you have 6 months in class 2 month internship. And if you want an elongated internship, you have 6 months in class and 6 months internship. The data analysts, you need to learn, first of all, problem solving, Microsoft Excel, because you need to know how to solve problems. You need to know how to get to the root cause of a problem. You need to know how to break problems into multiple parts using the 5 whys, the McKinsey-Macy model, the CRISP-DM framework, and all these different techniques to know that you are solving the real problem that should be solved. Then you go into Excel, analyzing data using Excel, using different tools, your pivot table, your pivot charts, creating dashboards. You'd learn SQL, structured query language, to extract data from databases and data warehouses. All right. You'd learn Power BI and Tableau for your business intelligence, your data visualization. You'd learn how to tell stories using data through data storytelling. AI for data analytics using ChatGPT and Microsoft Fabric for analytics. Again, it's a 6 month program, 6 months in class, 2 months internship, and 6 months, 6 months internship for the second option, depending on your preference. And you have classes to fit the different schedules. Now, what's the major difference between the data analyst and the data scientist? Remember, the data scientist uses machine learning model, statistical modeling to predict the future. They delve more into predictive analytics, answering the question, what will happen? So you need to understand statistics, which is the foundation of machine learning. Then you move into forecasting and predictive analytics using Excel. You'd learn different forecasting techniques, linear regression, exponential smoothing, moving average. You learn how to use Tableau for data analytics, SQL, structured query language, Python for your exploratory data analysis, machine learning, computer vision, GitHub for your version control, AI for data science using ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot, and Microsoft Fabric. The mistake a lot of people make is they start learning data science by learning Python. Python is number 5 on the list. You don't learn data science by learning Python. You need to understand the fundamentals. You need to know statistics. You need to know how to use Excel, Tableau, SQL before you move into Python. If you start data science by going into Python, you're going to crash out and get frustrated because you don't have the background, the fundamental knowledge. It's like you building a house, but starting from the roof rather than building the foundation first of all. Again, the program is for 6 months. First option, 6 months, 2 months internship, 6 months, 6 month internship. All right. Then you have the financial analysts. The financial analysts are data analysts, but the focus for them is working on financial data. So they don't work on all types of data. They work on financial data, financial records. The data analyst would work on different types of data, customer data, research data, and so on and so forth. The financial analyst would help the organization identify areas for cost optimization. They would help to measure the company's profitability, different profitability metrics, the return on investment, return on equity, and so on and so forth. They help organizations understand when inflation goes up, unemployment goes down, how does it impact our industry? How does it impact the company? You carry out sensitivity and scenario analysis. All right. The Canadian dollar has been on the decline for over the last couple of months. How does that impact the budget we had set in 2024? And going into 2025, what are the assumptions? What are the possible scenarios that could play out? How do we invest based on our risk appetite, based on the different factors that plays within our business? These are the questions the financial analyst would help the business answer. So you're a data analyst that would focus on financial records, financial analysis, and investment banking. So you'd start with the data skills, your problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. These are your data skills. Then you move into the core financial areas, accounting fundamentals, financial analysis, financial modeling, building models from scratch, the best case, the base case, the worst case scenario, and so on and so forth. You learn valuation, which is the corporate finance aspect, sensitivity and scenario analysis, and AI for financial analysis using Chat GPT. Again, similar structure, similar timeline. You'd learn 6 months, 2 months internship, 6 months or 6 months internship. You have classes, live classes on Saturdays. Every other day, you have a self-paced class. You can log into the platform at your own convenience anytime to practice and watch your sessions. Then you have the HR analyst. This is the second to the last for today. The HR analysts are also data analysts, but they focus on what? People data, or you can call it HR data. So they don't focus on every type of data. Their focus is on what? The people data. Okay. So you want to know, why are people leaving the organization? What are the factors that could help us predict employee attrition, employee turnover? What part of our budget drives the best business results? What is our single source, the best source of hire for specific roles in this organization? All right. So as a HR analyst, you don't want to make decisions, implement policies or strategies based on what you think or based on just experience. You want to implement policies that are data driven. And that's where, as a HR analyst, you take two key areas, data analytics and the HR function, to become a HR analyst. And all these areas require zero experience, zero knowledge. You learn the skills, you learn them in class, you work on projects, you solve problems, and that's what gets you into these roles. So you'd learn your key data skills, problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. These are your data skills. Then you move into HR analytics and performance evaluation, HR metrics and life cycle, HR analysis and dashboarding, reports, automation and collaboration, building your case and creating action, and finally, Chat GPT for HR analytics. The timeline, similar with the other programs, 6 months in class, 2 months internship for the first option, and 6 months in class, 6 month internship for the second option. And finally, you have the cybersecurity professional. As a cybersecurity professional, your role is to protect the organization's data, the organization's systems, and the network from both internal and external threats. You'd see so many different news here and there. Flutterwave was hacked. Patricia lost a lot of money through, hackers breaking into the crypto platform, and so on and so forth. Okay. How can you, as an individual, prevent those type of things from happening? Protect the digital assets of organizations from internal and external threats. And the opportunities within this space is absolutely immense. As a cybersecurity professional, there are four key areas we focus on at Analytics. GRC, the governance, risk, and compliance, which is where, as a cybersecurity professional, your role here is not to build technical, not to build technical programs to protect the organization, but you are simply doing what? Establishing policies and procedures that would align with the organization goals and regulatory requirements. Okay. So for example, every new employee that comes into the organization, they need to know who owns specific aspects of the business, who is the custodian of the data, the database or the data warehouse, how is access given to anybody who wants to get data from that platform. So there must be a data governance structure in any organization. For example, who comes up with that governance structure that shows the owner of that particular platform how access is given to any employee That's the role of the GRC professional. You maintain and record compliance records within the organization. So when it comes to technical skills, it's not as highly technical because it's more of you coming up with policies, strategies, frameworks to guide the governance, of the organization as it regards to the organizational goals and also regulatory requirements. Then you have the SOC analyst, Security Operations Center. Your Security Operations Center is equivalent to, just imagine in your home, you have, cameras around your house. You can see if somebody passes in front of your house, if somebody knocks on the door, you can see who that person is. Organizations have monitoring systems across different networks and so on and so forth. So, as a security operations center analyst, your role is to identify different signals that could lead to potential threats within the organization. So when you want to know who visited your house, who broke into the house to steal something, you don't look through all the entire videos. The security operations center analyst would do what? Look for anomalies. Who had a forced entry? Who held something that could break down the door? And they identify those things to ensure that threats does not happen within that organization. So imagine a scenario where you travel from the UK to Canada and you use your Lloyd's Bank credit card to try to buy something. Now, over the last couple of months, you've not traveled anywhere. So when a signal shows a change in location, what happens? That credit card is blocked because of the difference in location. And that is something a security operations center analyst would see and ensure that they block that transaction from happening and investigate if it's actually the right transaction or if it is somebody who is trying to break into your account and use that transaction. All right. Then you have the penetration testers. The pen testers are professionals who would ensure that before that external party breaks into the system, I would try to hack the system myself to identify vulnerabilities. Once I identify these vulnerabilities, I'll then go ahead and build systems to protect the organization from those type of threats. Okay. And then you have threat intelligence and incident response. So threat intelligence is simply where you are trying to collect data and analyze that data to identify possible threat actors, the tactics, the techniques, and the procedures that they could deploy to hack into the system. So you are also deploying and creating incident response plan. Okay, so once this particular threat happens, how do we respond to these threats? So our cybersecurity analyst program cuts across these four areas: GRC, SOC analysts, the penetration testers, and threat intelligence. And these are career paths that are high in demand. If you're in the US, if you're in Canada, you want to get into cybersecurity. I'll show you Adetayo, who got a job as a cybersecurity professional. I think I showed him earlier. After 60 to 70% completion of the program. So you'd start by learning introduction to cybersecurity, foundations of computing and networking, information security principles, offensive and defensive cybersecurity, cryptography, cyber threat and attack vectors, network, endpoint, web and application security, cloud security, incident response and forensics, and finally, cybersecurity policies and compliance. The program is also for 6 months, 2 months internship, or for those who want a longer internship, would do the 6 months, 6 months, 6 months in class, and then 6 months internship. And again, the classes are structured in a way that it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in the UK, across Europe, you have a class that fits your schedule, fits your time zone. If you're in the US, Canada, you have a time that also fits your schedule. Your internship in 2025, which is an addition and an improvement from last year, is you get to intern not just with Tenalytics this time around, but also with Amdari, a leading technology company. The advantage for you is you'd have the unique opportunity of not just listing Tenalytics on your platform, on your LinkedIn, on your CV, but you'd also be able to list Amdari. So any employer, potential employer, or HR recruiter that sees that you've worked with Analytics, you've worked with Amdari, it positions you better to land that job. Okay. And as we start to wrap up, remember the focus for us and what has made us super successful is the T plus E equals the job offer equation. The technical skills is not enough for you to get the job. You must have the technical skills and the employability skills. I've talked about the employability skills severally, the CV review, the LinkedIn, navigating the job market, interview prep, your references, on the job support, weekly mentorship session, and Upwork optimization. Okay, so there are so many other success stories. I'm going to leave them on my slide for you to interact with them. You watch the videos. This is Rita. Rita got a fixed term contract job, got a sponsored job in the UK last year after completing our data analytics program. And this is Rita saying, I spoke to my manager about the visa, the rules, and the changes, and HR had a pushback. But then I got my COS and I was able to apply for my visa and I got my decision. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to Tenalytics because they taught me SQL, which I used in getting this fixed term contract. You have Lois. Lois was an accountant, but Lois was able to get a job as a project manager after completing our business analysis program. So you see those project management aspects of business analysis. Lois was able to use this to land a job. And I'm going to play Lois's video. I want you to listen to Lois and then we'll come back to wrap up what it takes to get into our next cohort starting on the 8th of February. You have Ngozi, who was a customer service professional. Today, Ngozi, after joining our business analysis program, got a job as a business analyst. You have Oluwadamilare, joined our data analytics program. Today, he's a sustainability analyst with BAM. You have Busola. I talked about Busola. I showed you our LinkedIn profile, got a job with Desjardins. This is Busola sending me a message. Thank you, Ades. I want to update you. I got the offer and I accepted, I agreed to the offer. This is Abigail, who was a care worker in Saskatchewan, Canada. She moved to Alberta, Canada to take the job as a business analyst after completing our business analysis program, and so many other success stories. This is Benem in the US who got a job as a HR analyst after completing our program. All right. So you'd have the opportunity to watch all these videos and interact. And for the person who asked me the question about the credit analyst role, yeah, I remember I'll show you that particular job. So this is Abdul. Abdul sent me the message when he got this job. I got a job as a data analyst, but the role is called the credit analyst. I'll show you that on LinkedIn. And then I've also kept a lot of links for you to listen. We bring back these professionals who have gotten jobs to talk about what they were able to do. So we have a session called How I Secured a Job After Training with Tenalytics. So you click on this, it takes you to our YouTube page, and you're able to listen to these amazing, amazing people. All right. We got into the Alberta Catalyzer Velocity Program, which is a program organized by the Alberta government. It's for innovative companies, helping them to provide more value to their customers and also helping them scale in operations. All right. So I've kept the link here for you to also read. And, we had an amazing time. That's me right there. If you can see me sitting down with other fantastic professionals, that's me. And that's Efemena, the co-founder of Tenalytics. So if you click on the link, it takes you to the article and you get to see myself, the co-founder of Tenalytics, and you get to read about the amazing work we are doing within the space. Tenalytics helping Africans and the Black community break into tech. We've helped over 2,500 Africans launch successful tech careers in the last 4 years. Okay, so get to read about that. We also got accredited by the American Council of Training and Development, the ACTD. You click on the link as well, it takes you into the website that shows you the ACTD accreditation for Tenalytics. So I have a big question for everybody on the call as we wrap up our session today. What are you going to start doing today for the 2025 you? I had a lady who reached out to me last week, and she said, Adeza, your fees have increased from last year. I have been wanting to join Tenalytics since 2023, but I've been delaying and delaying and delaying. Somebody I recommended to join Tenalytics last year got a job, and I have still not gotten a job. Okay, so she decided to register eventually after following us for almost 2 years. So the big question is, what are you going to start doing? I've shared a lot of strategies. I've walked you through the career path. What's the next step? The next step, we have a program starting on the 8th of February, 2025, and we have an amazing discount for everybody on the call. Okay, as usual, we open up the discount not to everybody, but to the first 20 people interested in getting started. So how do you get into a Tenalytics program? How do you join our 6 months learning, 2 months internship, or 6 months learning, 6 months internship? Have the opportunity to work with mentors, work with experts to help you land that job. So depending on the program you want to join, data analytics, business analysis, cybersecurity, agile project management, the full amount for the 8 months plan, which is where you have the 6 months training, 2 months internship, is $900. But we have a discount for the first 20 people, which is a 20% discount. Rather than paying $900, you get to pay just $750. And the amazing stuff is you can make your payments in installments, and I'll walk you through how to get that done. And for those going for the 12 months program, or I want to have 6 month internship, I want to have more internship, how does that work for you? Rather than paying $1,200 to get in, you get to pay just $1,000 to get into the program. It's a 20% off for the first 20 people to get into the program. All right. Now, you also have the unique opportunity of making payments in installments. So if you've gone for the 8 months program, where you have 6 months in class, 2 months internship, you get to pay just $150 to get in, and every month for 5 months. Okay, which gives you the discounted fee of $750. All right. The shorter you structure your payments, the cheaper it is for you. And I'll show you how that works. And for those going for the 12 months plan, rather than paying $1,200, you get to pay just $1,000, and you can structure your payments $125 per month for 8 months. So it's very easy and flexible for you to get in and get your journey started. The focus for us and the mission is very simple: to get more people that look like me, that look like us, into the tech ecosystem. It's been an amazing ride, and we are looking for people like you who want to get started, get that journey started, to work with us to help you get into the tech ecosystem, irrespective of where you are. The discount is for the first 20 people to get their journey started. The first 20 people to register for any of the programs, you get to enjoy the discounts. Okay, so how do you register and how do you secure your slot as one of the first 20? All you have to do, click on this link and it takes you into the enrollment center. Okay, I'm going to use the other browser so that once you click on the link, it takes you here, okay, to the enrollment center. And from the enrollment center, that's where you can select the option you want to go for. So it takes you to the center. If you ever want to, chat with any of us, you can do that right here. Or You can call us on any of these numbers, any of my colleagues, and they'll pick up your phone. They'll pick up the phone and get to chat with you, or you can send a WhatsApp message right here. Or when you go to the enrollment center and you click on chat with Analytics, one of my colleagues will be there to respond. Okay. So remember, you have the discount running. It's for the first 20. Once the first 20 is off, the discount is off. 750 goes back to 900. $1,000 go back to 1,200. I'm going to maximize this a bit so we can see clearly. So the next cohort starts on the 8th of February, 2025. All right. So all you have to do is select the program. If you're going for the business analysis program, data analytics. So let's say I'm going for data analytics, for example. Okay. And I want to register for the 8 months program. All I have to do is come in here and I click on DA 8 months. It takes me to the payment page and I can see clearly it's going to show me different currencies depending on where you are. If you're in the UK, you are in Canada, you are in the US, you are in Europe. You can change the currency right here. All right. So if I click on this, I want it to show me in United States dollars. I want to pay in dollars. I click on dollars and it shows me the fee. Now, if you're making a one-time payment, it's even cheaper for you. So instead of paying $750, which is the discounted fee, you get to pay just $700. Okay, if you're making payments in 2 installments as well, it's still slightly cheaper. You get to pay $700. If you're paying 5 months, you can make your payment in 5 months. You pay $150 every month until the end of 5 months. So let's assume I want to do the 5 months. I can click on that and then I click on secure my seat. Okay, so you select your preferred currency. You can come in here, you can in Canada, you select the Canadian dollar option and you'd see the payments in Canadian dollars. All right. So once you've done that, okay, you've selected your preferred option. Let's say you're going for the 5 months installment. You click on that, click on secure your slots. It shows you clearly how your payments would be structured. The first payment would go out today. Okay, 11th of January. The next payment, 11th of February, 11th of March, 11th of April, 11th of May. Okay, proceed to pay. All right. So here is where you enter your name. You'd enter your email. All right. You can enter your phone number, click on pay for product, and then you enter your card details and you get to make payments. Once you've completed all of this, you click on confirm payments. You will receive an automated email where you have your confirmation of payments, and it redirects you automatically to a form for you to complete your registration. I'll show you what that form looks like. The form looks like this. So you'd see the form where, for those of you that are still confused, do I go for data analytics or data science? You can have a session with me where I'd have a session with would have multiple sessions to help you after you've made payments, your first installments, the first payments, to help you understand based on this, based on that. If you are confused, this is the career path for you to choose. Some people would ask me, Adez, I studied biochemistry. I've worked as a logistics manager back in Nigeria. I've worked as a banker. How do I get started? Okay, what career path should I choose? We don't tell you categorically what to do, but we guide you to selecting the career path. So you'd get directed to the form. For you to have the opportunity to do that, once you are filling your registration, okay, after making payments, I'm just going to walk you through. Click on next. What type of payment did you make? Initial payments. You keep on clicking on next. Let me maximize this. Okay, read the terms and conditions. Click on next. Next, select 8 months or 12 months, depending on the program. If you have any questions, you can send an email regarding payments. You can send an email to finance@analytics.io and the finance team would respond. Click on next, enter your first name, your last name, and so on, gender. Click on next. read the terms and conditions. If you have questions, you can send an email to enquiries@analytics.io or admissions@analytics.io. Then you can reach out to us on any of our phone numbers or WhatsApp. Click on next. When did you make payment? Select all of this, upload a screenshot as proof of payment and all of that. Click on next. And then you enter the name on the account that you used to make payment. For some people, their brothers, their spouse would make payment for them. So who made payment? Is it from your own account? Is it from your spouse's account? Enter the name on the account. And if you know the program you are registering for, this is where you select it. But if you are not sure and you want to speak with me, you want me to guide you, all you have to do is select, I need to speak to a professional. And one of the experts in-house would walk you through how to select the right career path, or you speak with me, myself, to walk you through as well. So if you select this, we receive that and we organize a session where we help you make that decision. Now, for some of you, your February is already filled up with so many commitments. Okay. So what you can do is secure your discount to still be a part of the first 20. All right. So you don't want to lose the discount. Secure the discount to be a part of the first 20. And then you can select to start in March or April. So I can start on the 8th of April. There's another cohort on the 8th of March and another cohort on the 5th of April. The beauty about doing this is if I select April, when the discount is no longer available, the 20% is canceled, is off. I still would have enjoyed that discount. So instead of paying 1,200 for the 12 months or paying 900 for the 8 months, I pay 750 for the 8 months and 1,000 for the 12 months. So I enjoy that discount by deferring my program to start if I'm not still available on the 8th of February. Okay, so those are some of the things. You select your country of residence, and that's how you get into one of our programs. Okay, one thing I want to leave you with today is a quote I have always lived by for over 30 years of my existence. And this quote is, you don't rise to the level of your expectations, you fall to the level of your preparation. A lot of people expect so much. I must get a job in 2025. But the big question is, how well prepared are you to get that job? So expectation means nothing. You always rise. You always fall to the level of your preparation, not to the level of your expectation. So that's one thing I want to leave you with today. I'm going to take questions before we call it a day. And I want you to also listen to one more person, okay? Very quickly. And then would have questions and then we'll call it a day. All right. So I want you to listen to, let me see, Lois. Lois was an accountant. She was in logistics back in Nigeria. She went for her master's in the UK, joined our business analysis program. But guess what? In Lois's city, you had more of project management roles. And if you remember when I was explaining the business analysis program, you would learn project management skills, Agile and Scrum for projects, software development lifecycle, project initiation, and planning. And these were the skills we were able to bring to the fore to help Lois land this job as a project manager. But I want you to listen to Lois herself before we come back to take questions. So I'm going to click on this link and it takes you to Lois.
Hi guys, my name is
Lois was very dramatic, very excited to land this job. And I'm sure you'd find it very interesting, listening to her career transitioning.
Hi guys, my name is Lois. I joined Analytic Business Analysis class in November 2023 with zero knowledge or BA, even though I was doing my master's at the time, which was focused on the management part of business analysis, not the techniques, tools, or even the requirements. I am so excited, as you can see, because guys, I just landed my first tech job as a project manager. Let me tell you a bit about my journey. So before I joined Analytics, I was an accountant and a procurement expert. So I didn't even know anything about tech. Analytics was my first exposure to core BA training, and I learned so much. Things like SDLC, requirement elicitation, process mapping, project initiation and planning. And even apart from the BA training, they also helped me to develop myself through a lot of mentorship sessions that built me up in interview preparation, LinkedIn optimization, a day in the life as a BA, job search strategy, CV optimization, negotiation like a pro, career transitioning. Guys, it was a lot of value. I also ensured that I was actively involved in class. I mean, who didn't know Lois in the cohort? But after my training, I waited to complete my master's because I couldn't work full-time while studying. I then had my career plan mapped out, and my first goal was to get a job in a student-focused role because of personal reasons, and then transition to be a project manager. I mean, BA and PM are so relatable, and there were more project management roles in my city. So immediately I finished my studies, I leveraged on the CV skills, the interview skills that I had been taught to land my first job in the university in a student-focused role. And guess what? 6 months later, exactly 6 months later, I landed the job I'm talking about now as a project manager, double the salary. So thank you, Analyst. I'm so happy to be in the tech space, and I encourage everyone that want to upskill, that want to have a refresher course, to please do what? Join Analytics and be like me, because I mean, who doesn't want the money? Who doesn't want the skill? Who doesn't want to be in the tech space? So join Analytics.
So that's Lois. I was going to end with that, to listen to Lois's enthusiasm and excitement and everything. And super amazing. Lois is doing very well. She got this job last year, and she's a project manager doing amazing stuff and representing Analytics in the best way possible. All right. So ensure you are a part of the first 20. I'm going to take in questions. If you have questions for me, type it into the chat, and I'm going to take all the questions you have. Again, once you get into the enrollment center, select any of the programs. If you're interested in 8 months or 12 months, you click on that and it takes you in, and you'd see we have 18 slots available. 2 slots are gone already. Out of 20, we have just 18 left. So you want to be a part of one of the first 20. So I'm going to go into the chat and I'll take questions and here and take as many questions as I can before we wrap it up. We'll take 10 minutes to take questions, and then we'll wrap it up. Can you say anything about software testing? Software testing in itself is going to be phased out very quickly and very rapidly. Okay, so I want you to look at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report for the person asking about software testing. There are a lot of tools today, large language models that can do the job of a software tester. You don't need a software tester to identify where you have issues and all of that with the software, and how to provide, troubleshoots where you have issues and so on and so forth. AI platforms, AI technologies, large language models can get that done. And that's why it's part of the career path that you'd find declining in demand. Okay, there's an interesting saying that software engineers that leverage AI would build programs to replace software engineers, which is very interesting. So as a software tester, you can be rest assured that that job is going out, is declining in the next couple of years. I didn't say it's part of the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report. You want to read that report. Okay, so I'm looking at more questions. I didn't hear anything about financial analytics. You must have missed that, Moses. You probably joined a little bit late and you missed it. But the recording will be made available to you. So ensure that you fill the form, fill the attendance form, so that you receive all these materials. Oladimeji is asking, what will you say about someone working as a data analyst already, but want to go into data science? Will you say it will be much easier for them? Absolutely. The learning curve would be shorter because you already have a foundation, you have a background. So a lot of the things you'll be hearing, you will not hear some of them for the very first time. And it's easy to connect the dots. You can only connect the dots looking behind or looking, at the back. You can't connect the dots going forward. So you having skills already in data analytics gives you that foundation, getting into data science. Even though you don't need any prerequisites to get into data science, it's just an advantage for you. It's like somebody saying, um, I want to learn calculus. Okay. You cannot do calculus if you don't understand arithmetic. So you imagine somebody who has no knowledge of arithmetic and wants to learn calculus, and somebody who has knowledge of arithmetic and wants to learn calculus. One person would understand things a bit faster. And that's why all our curriculum are designed with the beginners in mind. So we start from the very foundation, the very beginning, so everybody's carried along. Okay, so I'm looking at more questions. Somebody's asking, hi, good evening. Is there a plan for Nigerians who are trying to land remote jobs? Absolutely. I'm not, I would show you people in Nigeria currently working for companies in the US, companies in the UK from Nigeria. Okay, so let me show you that before I forget, because I've said I'll show you so many things, but I'm not sure I've shown everything yet. So if you look at somebody like Abdul Rashid, you look at somebody like Muhyiddin, these are Abdul Rashid, for example, lives in Abuja, Nigeria, got this job working for Chow 420 in the US as a data scientist. Abdul Rashid currently supervises Indians. He has Indians within his team who reports to him. He's a data scientist. He joined our data science program and he landed his job. He landed the job in 2023, if I'm correct, towards the end of 2023. So he's been on the job all through 2024. And what we do is we also bring back Abdul Rashid to help other people who are in Nigeria who wants to get that type of remote job. He works with you, how to apply, where to apply, and so on and so forth. So that's Abdul Rashid's story, just one I would like to show you because of time. What's the internship sessions like? The internship sessions are project based, okay, and they're with Amdari. Amdari is a platform for apprenticeship. So you'd work, let's assume you've completed the business analysis program, okay? Your internship involves you helping an organization trying to optimize their HR process, their HR department. Okay. The HR department is very manual. When people want to go on leave, they send emails, they send messages. So there are lots of things that fall through the cracks. You would go in as a business analyst. You'd work with the Agile project manager. You'd work with a real web developer that would help build that HR management system. So you'd analyze the process, you'd come up with the gaps, you do a gap analysis, you'd come up with what that organization needs to implement. So real time in a real world environment, it's project based. You don't go into a physical location. You join sessions online. You work with your team members. Some would be your classmates. Some would be from other cohorts. You work together to solve that problem. You'd have your meeting times. Okay. You'd have your sprint review. You'd have your sprint planning, and you would agree with your team members, typically between 4 to 5 in it, on a team. And you would agree with your team members that, okay, we meet every week and we meet on Wednesdays or we meet on Fridays. Okay. And you, for the person who asked the question, somebody works on a different part of the project, another person works on another part, but you get to utilize all the tools, all the technologies, and you have a reporting line. You have a line manager that looks at what you've done and gives you feedback, just as if you were reporting to a line manager in a real organization. So what that does for you is it gives you the opportunity to experience exactly what you'd be doing in the real world. Okay. I'll see if I can show you what that would look like. Because of time, we might not be able to look at everything today. Let me see more questions. Someone who deferred the December 2024 session to February, does this new payment affect them? No, it doesn't. Okay, the new payment doesn't affect them as long as you had registered in December. If you are registering newly, then you'd make the new payments. But if you've registered already in December, it doesn't affect you. You'd pay the fee, the amount that you had in December. Okay. Somebody's asking. I'm just trying to go through questions. Thank you to Analytics. I joined the December cohort. It is loaded, and I just checked the World Economic Forum. I'm more excited with the future of jobs. Okay, that's the Olua show. Absolutely phenomenal. What program did you join, Olua show? Super excited to have you on board. How much is the Agile project management? Okay, that has been answered already. There's no option for Naira. There is. If you're making payments in Naira, you can also do that. Okay, you can also make payments in Naira. All you have to do is simply go to the platform. All right. It would show you based on your location. So if you're in Nigeria trying to pay in Naira, you should have Naira come up. But let me see. Yes. So if you type in NGN, you'd see you have a Naira option. You can use that to make payments for the person asking. Let me see if I have more questions. Okay. Somebody asked about credit analyst earlier, and I think I would show that. And as soon as I show that, would call it a day. Okay. And one thing I want you to do something this Saturday. I'll show you what you need to do. So for the person asking, this gentleman's name is Abdul Hakim. Yes, so that's him right there. Okay. So Abdul Hakim joined us, I think, towards the beginning of last year or towards the end of the other year. I can't remember exactly. So you see Abdul Hakim's profile, Tenalytics, as part of his experience. And you'd see Abdul Hakim is working with Ardent Credit Services. So what he does for them is he helps them with their credit analysis as a data analyst in this organization in the UK. I know somebody asked about credit, analysis earlier. So Abdul Rashid does this for Ardent Credit Services, helping them with credit analysis in this organization. He got the job after completing his program with us at Tenalytics. Okay. So one thing I want you to do before we call it a day today is go to YouTube. All right. Go to YouTube, search for Tenalytics. Go to YouTube, search for Tenalytics. Go to the Tenalytics YouTube page. All the success stories I've shared with you today, you have access to that on the YouTube page. So if you click on the Tenalytics logo, ensure that you subscribe as well, so you get new videos, new information across the different things we've talked about. We've held sessions. We have free videos right here for over 4 years, and you have access to them. Okay, so if you go to videos, click on videos, you can see sessions that held yesterday, a month ago, 2 months ago, and all of that. You have the success stories. So if you click on success stories, for example, all the amazing people that have gotten jobs, over 137 here on our YouTube. You can watch, listen to them. This is Adetayo, cybersecurity, got his job. This is Abisola, who is a machine learning engineer. You have Abasi, who also got a job. You have Fikayo, you listen to Fikayo, you listen to Lois, Ngozi, and amazing professionals. Okay, so follow us on YouTube, subscribe. You have all the videos that you need. For those of you who would like to come in here and watch certain things, how to use DAX in Power BI, you have access to some of these things right here. Okay, so that's one thing I want you to do. The second thing I want you to do is follow us on LinkedIn. Okay, so go on LinkedIn and search for Tenalytics. Follow us on LinkedIn so that you get to see, you're one of the first people to see the new updates we have every single time on our platform. Okay. Don't forget the discount is available to the first 20 people. We've done this for the last 4 years. From January till December, we have new cohorts. But the biggest question is, when do you want to start? So get started in February. Let's work with you and let's help you break into the tech ecosystem. It's been over 2 hours we've been having this conversation, and it's time to call it a day. So for those of you that have questions, all you have to do, make your first installment. Once you've done that, while filling the attendance form, while filling the registration form, select, I would like to speak with a professional. You'd have the opportunity to speak with me or one of my colleagues to walk you through the nitty-gritty of how to select a particular program and so on and so forth. Okay. If you've had a wonderful time today, type in a yes into the charts. If you've had a wonderful time today, type in a yes into the charts. The recording will be made available to you. We always love you to get value anytime you join a session like this. And we look forward to working with as many people. We did 350 last year. We are looking to do 1,000 this year. And we want you to be one of the first 1,000 people that will get a job. We showcase your success stories to other people who will be looking to move into the tech ecosystem. John said I didn't answer your question. I'm so sorry about that, John. I'm sure I missed it somehow. Okay. Has somebody in Canada gotten a job offer for cybersecurity? So many of them, but not everybody will be willing to do a video because of the sensitivity of the role, number one. And a lot of people will tell you that I'm camera shy, I don't want to do a video and so on. But there are so many success stories across all the programs, across all the regions. The major reason we moved to Canada is to expand into the North American markets, both the US and also Canada. And it's been phenomenal. All right. Thank you very much for attending my session, for listening to me for over 2 hours. Over 200 of you, and would have sessions, more sessions like this, and ride with us, ride with Analytics to get into the tech ecosystem. Thank you very much, guys, and have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. If you want me to answer questions, I'm not sure I've seen all the questions. Jose Maria is saying I've not answered your question. So what you want to do is, if you're interested in joining, register, make the first payment. You don't have to pay the entire fee, and select I need to speak with a professional, and I'll speak with you and help you address any questions that you have. Have a wonderful weekend until we see another time. Cheers, everyone.